Okay, people, the year of the verses has finally come to an end, and oh boy, was it a huge year. Several more crossovers, more original versus titles, and who knows how many battles actually happened. Not just in theaters, but on TV, direct-to-video, and all of those things. Now, I haven't seen all of these movies, mostly because I don't have Netflix, well, at least instant streaming, but I have seen all of the fight scenes. So my opinions on the movie won't take hold. Now, this will take a look at the fights only, because if the movie itself is bad, it doesn't necessarily make the fight itself bad at all. So we will just take a look at the fights only, and decide which ones wins my medal for the best fight of the year, and there's a rule. They must be between characters normally audiences would be familiar with. That's it. Now, let us begin. Well, we can't have a year of the verses without some kind of B movie to get into the mix. I guess with Sasquatch vs. Yeti taking so long, and I'm guessing cancelled, it does make sense that this would fill the niche until then. So how was the fight? It was very badly done. Now, these should have been fun, dumb, B-grade battles, but nope. They're too slow, not enough gore during the fight, and are too short. If you make a versus movie or story, you need a longer battle than just a minute or a few seconds. I know it's a B movie, but my gosh, I've seen B movies with far better fights in them than this. So do I recommend looking for this movie to watch the fight? No, not at all. The season 2 of Netflix's big hit Daredevil is here. Its conflict against the Punisher has been shown, and it's time to talk about it. The battle between the two is an exciting brawl, each with their strengths and weaknesses being fully utilized and shown. Daredevil is experienced in close-range combat while the Punisher is an expert at long range. Daredevil is faster but Punisher is stronger. Daredevil's equipment can do great physical injury while the Punisher's gun can do far more, and etc. After seeing these fight, I felt like I actually needed to take a nap. It was that exciting. It's the first true legit team versus team battle done for superheroes. No separation by ideology or that bullcrud, it's true ball to the wall team on team battle. As well, it's the first dignified thing that happened to the Teen Titans in a long, long time. Just because that sounds great doesn't mean the fight between the two are. The fight is actually rather brief and uneventful. The actual fights that get the most entertainment are the ones that don't have the Justice League fighting the Teen Titans, ironically. But other than that, it's actually pretty fun seeing these two iconic DC superhero teams go at it with each other. For how short the battle is, at least it actually had fun with the idea and was entertaining. It's actually mind-boggling that these two have never shared the silver screen before. They are the most iconic superheroes of all time. When you think about superheroes, it's either going to be Batman or Superman that comes to mind first. And now that these two have finally fought, how does it stand? It doesn't. The fight is actually rather brief and one-sided in Batman's favor. It also doesn't help that the battle is actually kind of slow paced and somewhat uneventful. I mean, heck, the animated Batman vs. Superman has a far more eventful and action-packed fight than what this movie has. How is it that an animated movie made for direct-to-DVD has a far better battle than the theatrical film with millions of dollars sunk into it? Captain America vs. Iron Man has already happened on the small screen, video games, comics. It only makes sense to bring this battle to the big screen. And I hate to say it, the battle lives up to their expectations. Starting off with the airport battle, it's everything a superhero fight should be. It's fast-paced, its choreography is amazing, the special effects are well done, and unlike Man of Steel where its main goal was to see how many people and buildings they can kill, it instead focuses on the most important thing here, the battle between the heroes and not the destruction. Then we've got the battle that was advertised, Captain America vs. Iron Man. Oh my gosh, does this battle live up to its expectations. It's one of the most intense battles I have seen this year. The execution and choreography is amazing. The action is also really well done. You can literally feel every blow that is given. I even felt myself cringing at points in this fight. As well, this battle works because it's a battle between two heroes, not a hero and a villain, so you don't know who's going to win. And most importantly, it works because we were introduced to these characters before in 12 other movies. They've been fully developed and we've seen them grow as characters with each other. It makes the battles more intense, and it's also really hard for you to really choose a side in the battle. In short, it's what the battle between Batman and Superman could and should have been. And seeing this battle, I can't wait to see what they have in store for both Infinity War movies. Since this is the sequel to the hit X-Men Days of Future Past, it makes sense that they'd follow it up with X-Men Apocalypse. Even though I'm not an X-Men fan, I will have to admit, the hype was intense for it. So did the hype live up? Not sure, but when it comes to the action, I do admit it's actually pretty fun. I don't think it was as intense as, say, Daredevil Season 2 or as stylish as Batman v Superman, but I do admit I enjoyed watching a team finally take on a threat so big that no one person can defeat them alone. It makes me wonder how all 68 Marvel characters versus Thanos will go down in Infinity War, but until then, at least this can be our substitute. It's fun, it lasts as long as it needs to, and in my opinion delivered on its excitement. Ever since Freddy vs. Jason, people have always wanted to see two more horror icons battle each other for supremacy. There has been talk of getting characters like Chucky and Annabelle together, as well as mentions of a Hellraiser Halloween crossover. But copyright and lack of interest resulted in the likelihood of these things not happening, which is pretty much what always happens. But then came the anticipated crossover of the Ring and Grudge franchises. They are considered some of the scariest undead women in fictional history, so it makes sense they would cross over. But how was the fight? Surprisingly short and disappointing. It just consisted of Kayako dragging Sadako off screen once, and Sadako blowing up Kayako and ensnaring Kayako in her own hair. But in the end, what did you really expect from this fight? Kayako is perpetually crawling and Sadako literally just uses the curse of the tape to do everything for her mainly. And when she does get into the fray, it's usually her insta-killing. So it wasn't really going to be a battle, if you will. But hey, at least they did fight as opposed to just having verses in the title to get people into the theaters. And that was the year of the verses, and hopefully we will get plenty of more awesome fights in the future. Until then guys, I'll see you later.